I loved like the punk rock and that angry at the world, mad at your dad type music. And I also loved the rush I got from feeling like I'm giving the middle finger to God by listening to something other than Christian music. And the perk about this little handheld radio that I had was that I could set the preset buttons to Christian music stations. So I'd be listening to something that's all about I hate the world and I hate my dad. If someone came along, I just would quickly turn it back to a Christian music station, and I had no fear of getting caught. But it was like I got this adrenaline rush from doing it, and I just wanted more and more of it. And that really was a start of me like seeking out opportunities to be self-destructive. You know, my dad had always abused me in the name of God, and I always thought like, screw you, God, for letting him hurt me this way. And more, I sought out ways to be as ungodly and as unchristian as possible. It just started with listening to some rock song that it related to me, and it soon just was like I was always trying to find things I could do. I would start stealing things from stores. I started wearing all gothic attire. I had this one friend, I'd go over to her house and we'd steal her dad's beer, and we didn't have access to drugs, but we heard about these different ways that you could possibly get high off the stuff. So we would smell glue, and we would smell like dry erase markers because we heard you could get high off of that. And really, I wasn't doing it for the sake of getting drunk or high. I was doing it just so I could feel like I'm doing something God doesn't want me to do. And it just was like I just wanted to defy this God that I had grown up being abused by. I just was quickly spiraling, and I started self-harming, and by the time I was 14 years old, I would lose count around 60 cuts per day. I was seeking out more ways to get in trouble. I vandalized places. I stole from stores regularly. I was starting to talk to boys online and trying to arrange meeting up with some of these boys. And my life had always been a struggle, and the struggle was just continuing, and it looked like I was going down the typical path of a kid who came from a bad home. As I was spiraling, I was getting tired of it, and I was getting tired of living, and I was getting tired of suffering, and I really felt like God put me on this earth to suffer. I got this idea that the best way I can get back at God is by ending my own life. I just was so tired of always suffering, and I just wanted it to all be over. When I was 14 years old, I eventually decided, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm done living. And I started planning my own end of life.